already welcome to everybody who can hear us. We wait a few seconds more to let also the other people in. Okay. Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are located at the moment in the world. Welcome to manroland Goss. Welcome to the virtual.drupa and welcome to our web session today. My name is Wolfgang Hiesinger and I'm responsible for the product management of our packaging activities. For some of us, it was already a long day, so I thought it can't be wrong to start with a little bit powerful sound. And that brings me also to our today's slogan, the power of web offset for packaging. And hopefully you come at the end to the conclusion, it might be also an option for you to think about web offset for packaging. Let's have a look on the agenda. I will start with the business field flexible packaging, what web offset can do there, and what benefit can you gain out of that. Then we come to the project Rosa. Rosa was the name of a project which we realized at the moment that was a code name because it was at the beginning, at the very beginning, very secret. We also will get the view of the CEO of Rosa. GBD Packaging is the company name meanwhile. Then we come to the focus on sustainability, what offset can do here regarding green printing. And last but not least, a quick overview about the manroland Goss solutions. Let me just have a few words about our company for those they are not familiar with manroland Goss. We are the market leader in web offset printing. We have thousands of installations, mainly for newspaper and commercial. Our passion is really web offset. We are serving our customers with more than 1,000 colleagues worldwide, and our headquarters is located in Augsburg, Germany, which is close to Munich. Here, just one slide, what we are doing. That is one of our flagship Lighterman web width up to close to 3 meters wide, and also the speed is here around 1,000 meters per minute. But now coming back to packaging and what web offset can do in flexible packaging. Most important, cost, especially in these days when the running lengths getting shorter and shorter. And I would like to compare the 4 major printing technology, which is rotogravure, flexo, digital, and offset. And the main applications, the most installed presses for flexible packaging are in rotogravure and in flexo. And you see here the cost curve. We see here in that axis the run lengths, the average run lengths from 1,000 to 100,000 square meter. And here in that axis, then the cost per square meter. And the shorter the run lengths, the higher the cost. That is a model with all information we gained from market, from colleagues, from customers, and we made an average here for the European market. So quite a lot of you then think about digital when it comes to smaller run lengths. And you see here the cost line for digital, quite straight. So below 10,000, 16,000, there could be already an idea to go digital. When you are coming from rotogravure and flexo, which I assume most of you are coming when you are doing business in flexible packaging. And here you see the offset line. What is the advantage of offset? It's mainly the very, very cheap print form costs, a little bit also the ink and the short changeover times, but that is from the print form, the biggest gain you can get. And here you have a distance of gap of already 10 euro cent. For example, here in that range of 60,000 square meter average run length, 7 euro cent. And when you are producing 50 million square meter a year with 0.1 euro, then you already save 5 million euro just as a figure. So that is why we say, if you are in flexible packaging and your run lengths getting smaller and smaller, you should think about offset in the range between 3,000, maybe already up to 2,000 square meter and up to 100,000 square meter and more. And if it's less, then you should think about digital. That is the right way to do your investment for the next press. So cheaper, some figures. I would like to also give you a slide where you can prove what we have put in. Here you see the web offset plates, 11 euro per square meter, and the flexo and the gravure, 320 euro per square meter. On the other hand, flexo and gravure you can use more often. Offset plate, you normally, because they are so cheap, only use one time. But that is also in that model behind, there is also a reusing factor. And digital, nothing. On the other hand, digital, the ink costs are dramatically here for a 15,000 square meter run, more than 2,000 euro ink costs. And offset, also here the cheapest. And then a little bit, the less make-ready time, that is the third factor. Offset with our sleeve technology for packaging, you can do a changeover within 5 to 10 minutes. And engraver, quite often you need an hour, sometimes even longer. So for the ink costs, maybe somebody say that can't be. Offset is the most expensive one. If you calculate kilogram, yes, price per kilogram, offset is expensive. But the amount of ink per square meter you need is much, much less than in gravure or flexo. And here are the figures to prove. And at the end of the day, when you count the value per square meter, offset is the cheapest one. Then we come to print quality. If you can do anything cheaper, that's one end, but you also have to take care that the print quality is quite high, and offset support you here with an excellent print quality. Here with that motif, with that artwork, for example, that baby face, you can print that skin tones, that very fine structures, and also that gray tones which are going to white, that offset can do. Flexo here has some limitations, and if you get rid of that limitations, then the price for the print forms goes up. So here offset has an advantage. Then another advantage is that we can run with standardized color systems. So CMYK quite often is in packaging not good enough. You need more inks, and that you can do either with spot colors, or when you do CMYK plus orange, green, and violet, then you have a wider range of colors you can match. And that has some preconditions, and our solutions can do that. You need a high register accuracy because you are printed then dotted, and you need a very stable print quality. That is a must for expanded color gamut, but our solutions provide you with the technology to reach that and to make sure that the quality is very, very high. What is the benefit? You can reduce the number of inks in your ink farm, and also the waste of ink. You see here with the photos that sometimes you have a lot of different spot colors. You sometimes cannot use that any longer. They're getting too old, or you use different spot colors, your job's changing. And we got from one customer different artworks, and he said, I cannot print that at one run, and we have a lot of Pantone colors we have to use. And he gave us that artwork and said, when I visit you, then I would like to see that change to your standardized color system, 7 colors. And we did that, and that was very, very successful. And we were able to replace all those Pantone colors and matched it quite good. There's always a little bit an area where you cannot do that, but most of it perfect. And the customer was really happy and was absolutely surprised. And the advantage is you have less ink in stock, less waste. It's also for sustainability. You have not that much ink you have to throw away. It's also cost intensive to throw away ink. So what also can do in offset, when the run lengths get shorter than it's helpful to have multiple images in one print run. And with offset, you can easily adjust each color individual, each zone. In that example, you can adjust here the yellow and the green independently from that green and yellow or whatever color is here in. And that is quite simple as a standard feature of offset, which is different from to Flexo and rotogravure, where that is not possible. Here, quite easy, and that helps also for shorter run lengths when you can place easily multiple images across the web with. Configurations, that is a simple configuration, unwinder, rewinder, and the core for offset units for CMYK, but for sure that is not the normal way. That is the first easiest press. Sometimes it will work, but you can extend it. Whatever you need, we can do that with our system. It is very flexible. We call it PCOM system, that is our automation platform. And for us, it's not a problem. That is now offset itself with white in front for direct printing maybe, and also a possibility to print white at the end and between 7 colors, as I mentioned. But quite often you have special applications. You need maybe gold, and gold, the best way to print it is in rotogravure. And that is also a configuration a customer was requesting. And he said, I would like to print gold first, and I would like to print it in rotogravure because there is the best quality for gold. And also such hybrid configurations we can do. And that leads me then also to our first, or one of our first projects we realized with our new platform, Varioman. That is a press dedicated to do print jobs for shrink sleeves. 95% of the jobs are there shrink sleeves. And that contains 7 offset units. The target is here always to run expanded color gamut systems. So the 7 standardized colors in these days, sometimes we have still to use our customer spot colors, and then followed by an electron beam curing device, and afterwards then rotogravure units for different colors, white, opaque white, varnish, lacquer, gold. That customer is not doing it quite often, but also that is then possible, and so on. That was flexible packaging. Now we come to the project Rosa, and that is for folding carton. And folding carton is dominated. The main technology, especially in Europe, is sheet fed printing. And here we did together with our customer, GBD Packaging, an evaluation, and we came to the conclusion that for that project, a web offset based solution is right. And I would like to show you now a short video, an animation. The printing units are at the moment downstairs in our floor shop. They will be assembled at the moment, but soon delivered. And here you see how the factory will look like in a few months.
GPD is the food packaging revolution in Europe. Using the best components, we have designed an unbeatable unit with maximum efficiency from start to finish. GPD provides a globally established production process based on web offset printing with EB curing ink at a speed of over 400 meters per minute. Changing the print motif requires less than 4 minutes, and due to variable cylinder sizes, format changes are a simple procedure as well. Another key component of the unit's efficiency is the electron beam curing ink, which makes ink migration impossible, and the product especially scratch resistant. Food safety is the top priority here. Additionally, a high-performance camera system checks everything that comes off the production line on both sides of the product. GPD's rotary die cutter holds the print register perfectly at all times, guaranteed.
Yeah, that was a part of the animation. If you would like to see the completely one, then please have a look on our YouTube channel at manroland Goss. or manroland web systems, or you can also see it on the web page of GPD Food Packaging. Now I will give you a view from the customer side. We did an interview with the CEO, which is Henning Dietrich, and he would like, or he will give us on his view and information about the project. So the main purpose of that is folding carton. One application is deep frozen pizza cardboard boxes, and he explained what is the business model behind and the reason for that investment.
Also das Projekt Rosa, so vor circa 2,5 Jahren aus der Taufe gehoben, verfolgt zwei Geschäftsmodelle.
I have to say it's in German, but with English subtitles, so you can train your German or you read the English subtitle, whatever you prefer.
Also das Projekt Rosa, so vor circa 2,5 Jahren aus der Taufe gehoben, verfolgt zwei Geschäftsmodellansätze. Der eine ist, den Kunden durch Produktivitätsvorteile, die diese neue Fertigungstechnologie mit sich bringt, Einkaufsvorteile zu bieten, und auf der anderen Seite einen Mehrwert für die Kunden über die Lebensmittelbarrierebeschichtung mit dem Ziel, Kunststoffe in Lebensmittelverpackungen zu substituieren. Die neue Technologie, die wir vor circa 2,5 Jahren bei manroland Goss kennenlernen durften, hat uns doch sehr schnell davon überzeugt, dass diese Produktivitätsvorteile wirklich schon systemverändernd sein werden. Und natürlich haben alle Kunden daran Interesse, günstigere Einkaufskonditionen zu realisieren. Aber das andere Thema, was zusehends mehr auch an Bedeutung gewinnt, ist einfach Kunststoffvermeidung bei Verpackungen im Lebensmittelbereich. Und sind da sehr zuversichtlich, dass wir auch in absehbarer Zeit Lösungen anbieten können, indem wir halt anwendungsbezogene Barrieren dann in wirtschaftlicher Kleinserienfertigung anbieten. Wir sind zu dem Projekt Rosa vor 2,5 Jahren über einen Ideengeber gekommen, der gute Zugänge zur manroland Goss aus der beruflichen Historie hat. Dann sind wir hier seinerzeit nach Augsburg gefahren, haben uns die Testmaschine angeschaut, und wir verfolgen hier in der Tat ein gemeinsames Ziel, nämlich ein neues Produktionsverfahren in Europa zu etablieren. Und manroland Goss ist über die gesamte Zeit eigentlich nicht, wie soll ich das formulieren, wie ein Lieferant uns gegenüber aufgetreten, sondern wirklich wie ein Partner, der mit uns gemeinsam ein Ziel verfolgt. Die Fabrik wird aktuell gebaut auf der grünen Wiese, sodass wir die Maschine, die Varioman, dann Anfang August dort aufbauen können. Und das Ziel ist, dass wir im November, vielleicht ein bisschen eher, die erste Testproduktion dort dann beginnen können, um auch mit den Kunden dann wirklich in den Live-Betrieb zu gehen.
Yeah, that was a short interview, and he mentioned, Mr. Henning Dietrich mentioned that there is a performance advantage. As I mentioned before, most of the products in that business field are produced today on sheet fed presses. And when we compare sheet fed with the Varioman, so sheet fed with web offset based solutions, then we have a higher output, 53% in that configuration more. So here we compare a Format 6 sheet fed press against a Varioman with a web width of 1,300 millimeter. So the advantage is 18,000 sheets per hour maximum to comparable 500,000 sheets per hour. Sometimes you cannot utilize the completely format of your sheet fed press. Gain direction or grain direction is there the keyword. And when it comes to that, then already here we have 230% output in web-based offset solution compared to sheet fed offset. So that is the performance advantage, and the truth quite often is in the middle. So when we compare two sheet fed presses and the operating processes for folding carton with flatbed die cutter and compare it to the Varioman inline solution, where the die cutter is directly inline in the production process, then you have much less manning, You can use it, you can use one press line and can replace from the performance, from the output, up to 2 sheet fed presses and some of the flatbed die cutters and all of the operation which is required to bring sheets from the press to the flatbed die cutter. Even more, and that is the biggest advantage, you have a cost saving by purchasing the carton or paper or whatever you do with a GD2 carton. You have a saving of around 6 to 7%. And we also have saving to the advantage that we don't need a gripper margin. And that ends up to a huge saving per year. That is an example with minus 6% of the cost for the cardboard and also with the gripper margin. And you see, you end up in that example, more than 3 up to 4 million euro savings per year. And that is the advantage which brings the web-based offset technology. Then we come to sustainability. What is sustainability? In my words, we have to take care for our needs today, of course, but we also have in mind the needs for the further future generation. And offset is possible, and especially web-based offset in saving material, production waste, ink consumption. We can save energy. We don't need hot air drying, for example. We don't need the electrical power for the blowers. Therefore, we also less energy. We can save air condition power. Pollution, we use VOC free inks, so we have no pollution with solvents. The CO2 footprint, because we have less power consumption, is quite good. And additional, we have less health risk. It's easy to operate. There is no explosion danger area like you have quite often in rotogravure. And very important, with that technology, you have no compromise on printing quality. You have a lot of advantages, but no compromise on printing quality. Therefore, our web offset solution with that high degree of automation and workflow processes and all the benefits I explained before is a major part to make the world more sustainable. More sustainable, less CO2. Here are really calculations again. Offset has the lowest emission in CO2 when we compare, once again, that for printing technology, and even more important, we are more or less VOC free, not zero, because we have sometimes some cleaning agent and so on. But compared to flexo and gravure, we can save quite a lot of VOC in that calculations, in that example for solvent-based inks on flexo and gravure. So we see here a big goal to do something for a sustainable world and to provide the world for the future generations. Last but not least, our solutions. Quick overview. We have 2 series at the moment called Zalo and Varioman. They are a little bit different in the format size. The Talo starts at 520 millimeter web width, and the Varioman end in these days at 1,300 millimeter web width. Speed, Talo 400 meters per minute. The Varioman, like the Rosa, is already designed to run up to 450 meters per minute. Also a little bit differences in the applications you can do, and that would show us that slide. So the Talo is perfect for labels. Both the Talo and the Varioman are supporting flexible packaging, like that shrink sleeves, depending on your post-processing equipment, which web width you would like to have. Then the Varioman is designed for folding carton and also combined with our digital printing solutions for book printing. That is another story. If somebody is interested in that, please come to me. And last but not least, also the Talo is designed to do some jobs and work for security printing. So last but not least, to getting better and better and to serve and understand the market better in packaging, we as the market leader for those high performance web offset solutions, we made a strategic partnership with DG Press. DG Press is the inventor, the basic inventor of the Xalo, has a very, very long and deep experience in web offset for packaging. And when we took over the IP for the Xalo, then we also said, let us work together and serve existing Xalo customers and especially also the new ones. And we learn from each other, and together we bring the power of web offset to packaging. That was what I would like to show you today, what manroland can offer for packaging. And hopefully now you come to the conclusion, that was my wish at the beginning, that web offset might be an option for you. And if you say yes, then please come to us. Come to my colleagues, come to myself. Here is my email address. You can also use the functionality of virtual.drupa, the matchmaking. You can directly write to our common email address at info. So whatever way you prefer, come to us. I forgot to say that you can use the Q&A functionality of Zoom. But if you have now questions, then please put it in and we try to answer it as much as possible. Everything what we cannot answer, if the time is running out, then we will come back to you later. So Claudia, my colleague, is here to support me. What are the questions so far?
Well, first of all, there is a question from one visitor. He is asking, thick roll paper supply has no problem?
We need huge diameter of reels. I think the question is going to the thickness of the cardboard. We are running here 400 GSM, which is up to 500 micron thickness. And therefore we have special unwinders with a reel diameter of 1.85 meters. So that with that high speed that we have at least a certain run length, but that is not an issue at all. And such unwinders and such technology is also in other web-based solutions already on the market.
Then there is another question. What is the turning point between offset and flexo web in case of repeated job?
It's depending how often that repeated job is coming. The flexo has the advantage that you can run the print form, the clichés more often, but on the other hand, you also have to invest some time, you have to clean it, you have to store it, and you cannot run it forever. So in our model, there's already a reusing of 4 or 5 times in, but quite often or until maybe 10 or 20 repeat jobs, still the offset is an advantage because the print form costs not nothing, but like nothing, very, very cheap. So it not really takes in account. And the changeover is so quick. You can really change within a few minutes from one job to another one. And also a huge advantage is if you identify that there is a plate damaged, which also sometimes happens in flexo when you have stored clichés, then after reprint, you identify there is an issue, then you have to wait maybe an hour or 1.5. In offset, if you have a scratch on a plate, within 5 minutes, you have a new plate and you are up and running. That is, so in most cases, it will be not an issue. And in these days, I assume your customers, they are changing the motifs quite often, the artwork, small changes, promotion, anything like that. So in the real world, the repeat jobs getting from our experience, what we hear from the market, from our customer, goes to zero.
Well, then the last question, I think, why are you using EB inks?
Yeah, EB inks has several advantages. We have an inline concept. When we are using conventional inks are used in sheet fed, then they need a certain time for set off. Also, the varnish on top needs a little bit time. So quite often you have to store the stack a certain while. And we are running directly after printing into the rotary die cutter. So we need a cured ink, immediately cured ink. And another advantage is that the ink is much more scratch resistant. So in some applications, you can maybe avoid even then the varnish, and you can run without varnish if it just belongs in your application to the scratch resistant. So I assume time is running out. Thank you very much for your attention. And for more questions, please feel free to contact us. We are more than happy to serve you. Thanks a lot again.